That's right. Eli. He decided to breed pigs. So he bought himself a nice young sow. Absolute beautiful animal it was. And he was very proud of this animal. But it ain't got a clue about breeding pigs. So he went up to see his mate Enoch, who lived up in Oakham, top of Port Way there. He went up to see him and he asked his advice. He says, well, you'll just bring her up next Saturday morning and we'll put her with the old boy over there. And I looked across and that was the biggest, ugliest boy I've ever seen. He was horrified. He said, no, she says, only a little girl. He said, you know. Enoch said, it'll be all right. He knows how to handle her. He'll look after her. He's very good with the ladies. You'll have no trouble. Just bring her up here. So, next Saturday morning, Eli got his sow in the barrow and started off from Blackheath. Of course, nice and flat up there towards Raleigh. It was a lovely day. He was in his shirt sleeves. And he got to Raleigh village. That steep bonk in front on him, you know. And he thought, oh, this is going to be a bit of a challenge. But he started to zigzag across the road, halfway up. He wanted to stop, but he knew if he stopped, he'd never get going again. He carried on till he got up to the church. He stopped for a breather there. He thought about taking his cap off, but he didn't like to take his cap off, you know. It was a bit, you know, well, it all done, you know. Anyway, then he sets off down Hawes Lane, a nice, gentle slope down, until he come to the Bull's Head. Now, right opposite the Bull's Head, you've got to turn in Tippety Green. But that bend there, as you turn into it, the camber of the road goes away, and it nearly had him. I tell you what, he nearly tipped her out. He were half worried about it, but he just about got round. And then on the Tippety Green, nice and flat for 100 yards or so, and he come to the bottom of Turner's Hill. Now, Turner's Hill lay there now. Turner's Hill used to run up between the two quarries until they blowed it up and took the rest of the stone out. I mean, Portway Hill goes up steep, straight and steep, but Turner's Hill used to wind up. But it was a very good road, because all the wagons used to use it from the quarries, see, so you got potholes and lumps of granite and stuff like this. Well, anyway, he started off and he was a bit careful, when he went in any potholes, you know, he watched out for the lumps of rock, and he worked his way up, but it was hard work. He eventually got up to Eli's. And Eli said, well, stick him in the pen with, stick her in the pen with him. And he said, well, it'll be all right, stick it. So he put her in the pen. He said, now come in the house. You know, he said, you can't keep watching, I'm coming in the house. He says, and we'll have a pint of brew. So they did, they had a nice leisurely pint of brew. And they come out, and it was these two pigs, they're looking very satisfied with themselves, actually. And Eli says, oh, he's done the business, you'll be, you know, you'll be okay. He said, well, how will I know if I was pregnant? And I said, well, in the morning, first thing in the morning, go down and have a look at her. And if I was lying down, it's took. But if I was standing up, it ain't worked. He said, well, what should I do if it ain't worked? He said, bring her back next Saturday morning. Oh, shit, I hope it's worked. Anyway, put her back in the barrow. And he thought, well, the journey back will be easy down the hills. Of course, the weight of that pig in the barrow, I mean, he was dragging him, but he managed to get round the potholes and the lumps of granite, you know, down to the bottom of Turner's, along Tippety Green. And then it's only a slight incline over the top, but when you got to the top of Raleigh by the church and looked down the Raleigh village, that was steep. And he started to go, but he managed to hang on all the way down. He got her home. He took her up, bedded her down in the stall, you know. He went home and had his tea, and he went to bed, had an early night. Next morning he was up bright and early. He couldn't wait to go and see. He dashed down to the stall, and there I was, standing up. So, and next Saturday, off he set. Now, it was totally different this week. It was chucking it down a rain. So he put his mac on, he put her in the barrow, and off he went. But when he got to the bottom, but he thought, well, it's going to be better now, it's nice and cool, it ain't going to be so hot as it was last week. I mean, it was really, stifling. He got to the bottom of Rowley Hill, and Rowley Village, and he started to weave. Because all the cobbles were slipping now, and he was really slipping and sliding, but he, you know, he wanted to stop, but he knew he would never get going again, so he carried on. Got to the church and had a breather. And then off he went, down Oars Lane, that gentle slope. He got to the turning by the Bull's Head into Tippity Green, and the metal rim on the barrow started to skid on the road, but he just about got it round before he hit the curb. He just got, oh, that was that close, along Tippity Green, and then off he went, up Turner's Hill. By this time it was bucketing down. You couldn't see the potholes. There was lumps of granite rolling down in the water, you know, but somehow he managed to dodge them all, and he got up there. Well, they put her in the sty with the ball, and off he went. This time, well, he had 2 pints of umbrella. And, well, they were all looking forward to the journey back. And when both pigs were looking pleased with themselves, they put her back in the barrow. And it was absolutely hammering down now. And when it going down Turner's Hill, he couldn't see the potholes. He went into a couple of them, but managed to keep the balance and got around. Down Turner's Hill, across Tippity Green, over Oars Lane, and then down Rowley Village. How we held on to it, I don't know, because it was slipping and sliding on them cobbles. He was bouncing off the curb either side. He managed to get home. He put her in the sty. Well, he had his tea, and he went to bed. And next morning, he gets up. Well, you know, he was fine to go and have a look all this. He had his breakfast, and he thought about, I better go down. So he went down. Oh, there I was, I was still standing up. Oh, damn it. Now, the next week, he set off, and he got her in the barrow. But the weather was changeable, you know what I mean? You know how it goes, you know. It's sunshine in 1 minute, it's chucking it down the rain the next. So, he got his Mac on, because it was raining when he set out. He got to the bottom of Rowley Village, and the sun come out. So he took his Mac off and folded it up and put it in the, and off he goes up Rowley Village. You know, the roads was a little bit wet because it had been raining, but now the sun was shining, then all of a sudden it started raining again. Well, he couldn't stop and put his Mac on, he had to carry on in his shirt sleeves. He got up to the church, took a breather, put his Mac back on, and off he went. Down Oars Lane, got to the Bull's Head, turned left, he only just made it again round that fat bend along to Turner's Hill. And it was chucking it down. Well, he's got his Mac on, and he set off up Turner's Hill. And then the sun come out. It was baking, but he kept going, he got there, he was absolutely shattered. Put her in the sty, went in. We had 3 pints of umbrella this time before he could recover. Well, he comes out and he picks her up, and he says, I hope it's, you know, I hope it's right this time. So, by this time, he's chucking it down the rain again, so on goes his Mac and down Turner's Hill, he goes, you know, does it. By the time he got down there, the sun was shining, you know, he took his Mac off, he got up by the church. Well, you know the score, he kept changing, he kept putting his Mac on. Eventually he got home. He put the sow in the sty. He didn't bother to have his tea, he just went straight to bed. He just absolutely ate. Next morning, he was up early, but he couldn't bring himself to go down. His wife says, do you want a bit of breakfast? He said, no, in fact, eat breakfast. And in the end his wife said, look, am you going to go down and have a look at her, see how it is? I can't do it. He says, you'll go down for me. So off I went down and looked in the sty, and I come back, come back. He said, well, how is that? Is it standing up or lying down? He said, neither. They're sitting in the barrow ready to go again.